Hello and welcome everybody to Millersburg, Indiana, home of Rockwood and Flagstaff, or as I'm going to call them henceforth, Rockstaff, with a new floor plan here, the 15 FBS. I've seen some other things kind of like this, but Rockwood and Flagstaff always have a way of doing it like kind of to the nth degree. So this little thing, what's great about this is it provides us a bed, an option for dining, an option for seating, a kitchen, and a dry bath, not a wet bath where like you can kind of use the toilet and the shower at the same time. But it does so in a really small, lightweight, compact little thing that has a lot of real premium features slapped onto it. Like, these have always been dual Asdel walls, and they were doing it way before it was cool. Actually, they were doing it so early, people really didn't even know what Asdel was way back then. They were one of the kind of trendsetters on that whole thing. They were one of the first to standardize any level of factory solar. And actually, this year, not only do they have their returning 200-watt solar package, but they bulked up their inverters to 1,800 watts this year. And the big kicker there, if you're like me and you need some caffeine in the morning, you can run a coffee maker just straight off your battery. So if you're doing that Walmart mooch stocking in the morning, you can still get a cup of joe in you before you hit the road with sleepy eyes and cause an accident. Tank heaters, tire pressure monitoring, all kinds of cool things on here. I'm going to show you some great features on this one, as well as a couple things that might be a little bit problematic for you, showing you good with bad. And if you appreciate that, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like our video, and let's get started, because there's a lot of big fun in this little son of a gun. Ooh, I got to be careful. HR is going to call me if I'm not real sensitive with that one. Quick little correction. This is just going off of years of repetition. They actually have recently changed, they're not specifically using the Asdel brand name product, but they are using composite wall boards where they were using Asdel. I really think kind of the story behind this RV is that the things that make it great are also the things that might grind somebody's gears. You know, it's a tiny little box. It's a little bitty efficiency apartment, you know, in RV terms, basically. And that means that it doesn't necessarily have all the space in the world. You know, if there's a couple of you in here on a rainy day weekend, you're going to be kind of tripping over one another. And you better make sure, you know, I guess if you're going to be couples camping in this RV, what you should do first is you should engage in a home improvement project. And if the two of you can successfully complete that project without getting a divorce, then you're probably going to be okay spending a rainy day weekend stuffed inside this camper. I think that's probably the fairest way I can explain it. Frankly, I think couples should do that anytime before they get an RV, because if you can definitely tell when a couple is new at camping when they try to help each other back into a parking space and they're not familiar with doing it, because it borderline ends in a fist fight. And you know, as somebody else just hanging around the campground, you're just sitting there listening to this going, boy, they're having a bit of a rough day. You know, anyway, my point here, though, is that's also what makes it great, because it means that it is small, it is light, it is easy to park, it's not too big to tow around. So if you're a person who is like, okay with saying, okay, you know, if I want to, you know, use the bed, I have to put the sofa away. Like, if you're okay with that, you're gonna love this camper, because it has a lot of really cool kind of features going on with it. So, interesting note on their construction. It's actually only a 6'1" sidewall, which is 5 inches shorter than industry standard, but it has a 6.5-foot apex on a double-barreled roof. You have two laminated aluminum frame sections that are both barreled, and it creates decent headspace. It will become a problem in the shower, as I will demonstrate for you. As you've already maybe noticed, I will share you the good with the bad kind of things. Now, this is kind of cool. I love a Dynofa situation, and that's exactly what this is. This is actually a 1, 2, 3, you know, triple wombo combo. It's not even a Sir Mix-a-Lot double up. It goes a level beyond that, 50% greater than the Sir Mix-a-Lot double up, and that is to me saying something, because it is also, you know, going to be our bed. It's our dining, it's our sofa, and I love that they're including this nice little lagoon table kind of thing. But what I also really like is the hardware they are using to anchor that. You know, for years, the RV industry used this crappy little bracket with 4 cheap screws into a piece of OSB chipboard in the front of the sofa, and if you leaned on it at all, it would just pull right out of the sofa. It drives me crazy, and thankfully a lot of the industry's gone away from that. This is not that. This is a big chunk of steel anchored into a 5/8 inch tongue and groove plywood floor deck that these run on. And if you really want to learn more about the construction of these, check our full video tour of the Rockwood Mini Light facility. I actually have 4 different factories from Rockwood and Flagstaff on file here. Now, little camper, it does not have central air, but what's kind of cool, it has big ducts pointing front and back, but then you have these extra individual little vents right here that are, louvered, so you can close them, you can turn them, you can angle them a little bit more where you want. So like, I'm a person, I like to have cold air blowing right onto my torso, right onto my core. That's where all the hot air from me comes from, apparently. And it's kind of nice to be able to have that sort of control. Now, I have to kick you over into the realm of wide-angle lens mode to get you this footage right here. But here's kind of a look at how this whole sort of Murphy bed station and situation operate. It is one of the things I like about it. It is a simple one-piece, bed. It's not a folding mattress bendy bed. It is, I believe, more of a full-size mattress than a queen, so that's something you're going to want to keep in mind right there. But because it's not a bendy bed, if you did want to get something like a replacement mattress, different bedding, it's far more friendly to be able to do that. Now, you got to make sure that you're not getting something like 20 inches thick, because the Murphy bed does still need to fold up. And you might have noticed how there are blackout roller shades everywhere, including over the headboard of the RV. And the ones over the headboard actually have a couple little magnetic anchors, so that blackout roller shade isn't like dangling down and bopping you on the head. When I was a kid in high school, bop it, twist it, flick it, like that was fun. But when I'm laying in bed and I'm getting bopped in the head, that's less fun to me. Just my personal 2 cents. Anyway, over here, 12-volt smart TV. This is actually mounted on a pivoting swing arm. So if you, let's take a look at that. You can see how that can pivot down, swing around. I have my laptop over there since I'm on the road today, but just to give you an idea of the size of that countertop and that kind of wing out leaf right there, I think that would be perfect for like a wastebasket space, because this RV really doesn't have wastebasket space otherwise. Now, that your pantry could be a closet. That's another thing though, because space in this is so limited, you're really going to have to decide how you do that. Now, what you could also do is take out one of the top shelves to make that hanging storage, and then just have pantry space or dresser space below. You can kind of do whatever you want with it, but you're going to have to plan ahead. The kitchen is fairly small, but actually for a small camper, not bad. Decent sized stainless square sink with a cover. You've got that pop-up power tower over there in the corner. Not quite big enough that you're going to be getting an oven and a microwave. Actually, GeoPro has standard ovens wherever they could. Propane ovens are still standard in these, where a lot of manufacturers have peeled them out. In this little one, though, you do still have the ability to go to that convection microwave. Now, convection and air fryer you have to really squint to know the difference. And we can get semantical about it, but basically they're the same thing. In a little camper, in a small microwave like that, it's going to do about the exact same thing for you. And you do have a 12-volt compressor fridge over here. I always forget this. It's like 5.3, 5.7 cubic foot, something like that. But it's not so big that it's really going to be a monster power hog. So provided you have decent sunlight, if you're not plugged into park power, if you're untethered, the solar on this, the factory standard solar, should mostly keep up with it. But every single household outlet you're seeing in this RV is actually wired to that now 1800 watt inverter, a little bit bigger than it was previously. 1000 watt inverter is what they had for the 23 season. 24s are kicking in with the bigger 1800 watt variety. Sliding pocket privacy door here for the bathroom is nice, but you have to remember this is a small camper, and as a result, spaces like in the bathroom are going to get a little tight. Like if you listen, you can kind of hear my arms and my elbows sort of, thrashing, banging around in there a little bit. Not trying to make a show out of it, just trying to be realistic with you, with what you get. They could have done a little bit of a countertop cutaway to the left of that sink to maybe open up some elbow room for lefties or whatever, but they didn't. But at the same time, that now means that you have more counter space, which also is not terrible. This is going to be a trick for some folks, though. You're going to see I flat don't fit. I'm a little bit over 6 foot tall. I flat don't fit in this shower. So the thing you have to ask yourself here is a few minutes of, I have to duck in the shower, inconvenience. Is that a deal breaker for you? And there's no right or wrong answer to that. It's the answer that's right or wrong for you. But, if what you're looking for is something smaller and lighter, but still very aggressively feature-packed, that's just kind of the territory that goes with it. Now, apologies if my camera work is a little wonky right there. I'm sort of wrapping the camera blind around the corner so you can see the shower miser. It is a little bit interesting to me that they did stick with a tub in this one versus like an easier step-in shower. But, I don't know, I guess it's that they use tubs in a lot of these, mostly because in a lot of your Geo E-Pros from Rockstaff, you have a toilet right next to the shower, and a tub with a curtain provides elbow room. So that's, again, just one of those things. And again, it's hard to be upset at someone who's actually using the better vent fan right here, especially when I've gone through, quote, luxury fifth wheel toy haulers recently that still have the dollar store 4-inch fart fan in the bathroom. So when a little camper like this can give you a better fan with a roof vent cover, it earns a nice point of respect from me. And this was a cool find. Whenever I get a slide out in a small camper like this, especially with a full dedicated dry bath, not a wet bath, creating a small hallway, a small way, if you were, I always wonder what the road mode's going to be like. I am very pleased to report you can still access the sink, the stove, the fridge. You can get to the TV. You can get to the bathroom in here without ever touching the slide button. But I might have jumped the gun a little. I was getting all like, wow, just now. And all of a sudden it occurred to me, there's a bed behind me, and I'm about to bet your paycheck we can't use that sucker in road mode. Yeah, absolutely, positively, without a doubt. The bed cannot come down in road mode. It would conflict with the slide. But this is actually it's kind of giving me a couple questions right here. And one question specifically, does this RV need a slide? Like, it's hard to maybe imagine, the RV without a slide when, all your big appliances, like your microwave, your refrigerator, that pantry, they're kind of hanging over negative space in the Neverland. But it makes me wonder, does it need a slide? And something I meant to mention in this, I'm not just going to conveniently not mention something that isn't necessarily pretty about the RV. One of the hitches in this one's giddy up is, it's a north-south Murphy bed. But I'm not going to call it a walk-around Murphy bed, because the Murphy sofa that's under it comes so close up to the wall, you can't really walk around the bed. So you have to remember, it's you're climbing into the bed. Even though it's north-south, not east-west, you're still climbing into the bed, but you don't have to climb over one another if two of you are sleeping in this thing overnight to get to the bathroom. So that is an important thing to remember. Now, with things like their bulked up floor construction and some of the extra widgets and whiz bangs they've added over the last couple years, these have gained a little bit of weight. Really, kind of similar to me. I have also gained a little bit of weight the last couple years. But what I'm getting at here is, some of these things used to be like, SUV towable, and to be fair, depending on which SUV we're talking about and what tow package it has, SUVs may still be able to handle one of these little 15 FBS jobs. There we go. Can't even talk this morning. The caffeine hasn't kicked in yet. But mid-size tow package pickups, perfect kind of pairing for something like this. Not everybody necessarily wants to get the $80,000 truck to haul a camper around. You don't necessarily need to do that with one of these things, which is nice. The bike rack on the front is one of the very few options that's actually available on these anymore. And what's also cool, again, some of those kind of nicer features like the double propane tank with the auto changeover regulator, that stuff is really standard on these that often on single axle campers you don't find. Now this year they've also changed over to their magnet holdbacks on, not magnet holdbacks, but slam latches. They've had magnet holdbacks. Again, I can't seem to talk today. Anyway, but they've upgraded the baggage door hardware is what I'm trying to say. although apparently I'm kind of borderline failing. There's also nice little things, again, like the magnet holdbacks that I was talking about, but tire pressure monitoring. You know, they've been doing that for years, way before it became really cool in the RV industry, and they do a weird thing here. They do one outside speaker. Now, it's a small camper, and you may have noticed the awning's not real big on this RV. That's, you know, if you're going to get a smaller RV, you're going to get a smaller awning. That's just kind of the thing that goes along with the territory. But yeah, one outside speaker. I would personally be pretty okay with 0 outside speakers. That seems to be a thing that's a hill that I really feel like dying on the last couple years. It just kind of grew on me, you know. Now, up top here, you've got that low-profile air conditioner, and that's what's another cool thing about these. Their air conditioner does run a couple more dollars. That's some of the price tag that you find on a Rockstaff Geo E Pro. But the thing there is it helps keep the overall height down. And you see that bathroom max air vent fan cover. That's something that could be added aftermarket, I don't know, you know, $65, $75, $85 from, you know, dealer XYZ. But now it's just done from the factory, which is nice. And again, you've got that 200-watt solar panel up there. They are using a 30-amp charge controller, though. So if you want to expand on that, you can. You can even order additional solar panels right from the factory. I do think this one is too small to be equipped with their power package, that, like, you know, max solar, big inverter kind of off-grid camping sort of fun thing. Perfect for mooch docking, that package, but I don't think this RV is big enough to be outfitted with it. But something you rarely find on small campers are slide awnings like you see here, and the reason being, a lot of small campers, they're slide flange. The top of the slide trim out there usually sticks up too high, so that the awning, the slide awning, does not have a downward tilt. If you're going to install slide awning, and it would actually cause the awning to tilt water back toward the body of the RV, you should not put a slide awning on that RV. That's something a lot of people don't realize. I see done badly all the time, and I always cringe, because that's the kind of thing that gives a lot of RV dealers sort of a bad name. You know, like, there's no reason that should have been done if they cared about their customer at all. But anyway, this is interesting. It's kind of like a cold water sprayer port, but it's actually a full hot-cold utility shower, sort of around the back corner of the camper here. Now, we are right up close and personal in this building today. Although I'm not complaining, they were kind enough to pull a bunch of units up for us so that we could get this footage for you today, so I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. I finally learned the origin of that phrase. I have this weird fascination with the origin of language. I don't know why, but you should kind of look up the origin of that phrase. I think it's kind of a cool one. Now, what I want to show you here is, we kind of looked at it earlier, but the outside pass-through storage actually is what goes under the sofa. And if you lift the sofa up, well, you can get to that from the inside too, which is really handy if your cargo shifts. But because the Murphy bed, they have these little side saddle pocket spots over here. Just, hey, why waste the space, basically? But one of the most important things you're going to get with one of these, and I just dropped it. Yeah. Like I was saying, one of the most important things you're going to get with this RV is the Forest River Sportula, because this thing is heavy duty, and if sharpened to a point on a rock, is guaranteed to help you survive a zombie apocalypse by 37% greater likelihood. Probably. So I'm kind of curious to know, what do you think about these things where it's like a sofa, bed, dining, triple action wombo combo, brother? You know, I could see it not being for everybody, certainly, but I think this could be a really awesome fit for a solo camper or a cozy little couples camper. Folks who don't mind, yes, I need to, you know, put the bed away to sit at the sofa to do whatever, you know. I don't think it's necessarily going to be for everybody. Now, to also help you, I will leave some links in the video description to check for pricing and availability. I would say I'd leave you links for similar floor plans, and there are a couple other in the marketplace kind of similar. I don't really have anything else like this on file, so this is kind of the first that I'll be able to reference. So until next time, when you're ready, we're ready, and remember, Rockwood, Flagstaff, they're the same thing, same model number. That one link will show you any that we have in stock and the pricing that we have on actual individual units. So when you're ready, give us a call. Take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.